How we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today it's my node empire focused on trading, processing, and the excavation nodes. A couple important things before we start this node empire. You will definitely, if you want to be as efficient as I have it here, you're going to need pro shop lodging. On top of that, you're going to need pro shop storage for some key areas, depending on where you want to do your alchemy and enhancing. So my alchemy setup is here in Calpheon, so I've got a lot of extra storage here in Calpheon. My cooking setup, when I do it, is in Olivia, so I've got extra storage in Olivia. And my enhancing setup is in Velia / miscellaneous items, so I've got a lot of extra storage in Velia. Where you want to get your storage is depending on where you want to do your alchemy, cooking, and enhancing, so do keep that in mind. My next point will be, I got the foundations for the setup from a YouTuber. He posted a video a couple years back. He hasn't made any videos since, and he's got very few videos on his channel. I've tried finding him again because I found this guy a couple months back. I can't find his video again. He's a younger gentleman. If any of you know the video I'm talking about when watching this, because you've seen it in the past and you can find it, pop it in my comments. I'll leave a link to his channel in my description. So apologies to that guy that I can't give him full credit. I have definitely changed it a little bit as well for the way I like to do my node empire, but the foundation is very much his. And last but not least, in terms of leveling up trading, I'm not going to make a video on that. There is plenty of good guides on YouTube. The only tip I'll give you, since they're PC guides, and when they're talking about rolling, the rolling method, the way you're going to roll when you're over encumbered and you have trading items on your back is from neutral, you're going to hold forward on your left stick. And then if you're on Xbox, you're going to hold left bumper. And if you're on PlayStation, I think that would be the equivalent of L1. So once you hold it with holding forward, you do a roll. Then you're going to let go of everything during the roll. So when you hit this stance, you tap L1 or left bumper to stand back up. Then you're going to hold forward on the left stick, tap your bumper again to roll, let go of everything until the roll is finished, tap it again to stand up, hold forward, and then hold left bumper again. And you will definitely get the rhythm pretty quickly. If you do decide to use this method for leveling up your trading, I'm going to tell you right now, after the 6-hour point, you're going to go a little bit mad. It is very long, but it is the quickest way of leveling up trading, and that's what I did. So one last thing before I get into the node setup on console, it is important to note that processing items and selling them on the central market is more beneficial right now than trading, unless you got crazy high guru levels of trading. And it is a lot easier and there's a lot less setup. So just making stuff like brass ingots, steel, iron ingots, bits and bobs like that, and selling off the central market for your processing is a little bit, it is more profitable right now. I'm decided to do trading because it's just easy. I don't have to rely on the market. I don't have to rely on setting a base price or undercutting or fighting people and checking the central market when it's sold, when it hasn't sold. Try to figure out, is it better for me to make crates right now with these prices, or is it better to set? I don't like going through all that hassle. I just keep it simple. I create everything that I make. I eventually am going to be leveling up my trading doing this and making more money in the future, and it's just an easy thing for me to do, especially if I take a little breaks from the game and I play PC games and other bits and bobs. I have the option of continuing my trading on the console. And finally, I'm not utilizing my crates as much as possible. If you guys have a lot more AFK time processing, you will want more crafting stations, more wood crafting stations, more mineral crafting stations, more fruit and veg crafting stations. So do keep that in mind. However, finally getting started, and on the subject of stations, in Grana, you're going to want the mineral and the wood workbench. After that, you're going to come to Old Wisdom Tree, and you're going to hire some workers. So here's the thing about Old Wisdom Tree, you have a very high chance of rolling artisan workers. I spent quite a lot of energy to get the right rolls on these artisan workers. So as you can see here, these two guys that are producing special sunflower crates from Calpheon both have advanced produce packing skill +3. So this really increases the amount of money per hour I'm making and how many crates are being made in Grana. I don't do enough processing to take advantage of these other ones. For example, additional processing +3 when making timber crates. And this guy here, he's got additional fishing. I would definitely be re-rolling this guy if I did more processing. And I'd probably want to get mineral workbench from this character here. So you'd want 1 mineral, 1 timber, and 2 for grain, veg, and fruit crates. And that is also why lodging is so important. The Pro Shop lodging, you can only get extra lodging in Old Wisdom Tree through the Pro Shop. So this is where we're going to start connecting some nodes. So because we need to connect this guy to Calpheon to be able to make these crates, we are going to come over here and connect it to Casual Forest. And then that's going to go to Atenes Pond, up to Lemuria Guard Post, up to the Camasilvia vicinity, and then we're going to go to Long Tree Forest. We're going to cut up to Bear, and then from Bear we're going to cut to Bear Downstream. From Bear Downstream you're going to come also grab Rude Tree Stub, and you're going to get the Excavation Node over here. So just remember, you have to come to this node and give energy to the node manager to unlock excavation, and you will be using a Calpheon worker to get the excavation from Rude Tree Stub. Anyway, so we're now going to also connect Bear Riverhead. Bear Riverhead, you're going to get the tin ore, which also gives a decent byproduct as well, and that's going to be a Calpheon worker too. We're also going to get Fenoliel's Cabin. We're going to get the Fur Timber node here, the Lumbering node, and that's obviously going to go into making Calpheon crates. And then we're going to connect that to Northern Kaya Mountain, and Northern Maya Mountain is going to get connected to Gabino Farm, which gets connected to Calpheon. So this will get your connection all the way to Old Wisdom Tree to send workers. Once you have that done, before we continue with Calpheon, we're going to look at some Trent workers. So important one is the Lumbering Jack Rest. You want the Cedar Timber here, the Lumbering node. You're going to connect that to Abandoned Monastery, and then you're also going to pick up Trent Forest. You're going to pick up the Fur Timber node. You need all these timbers to make Calpheon crates, which is your most lucrative crate. Toberez Cabin, you're going to connect to Abandoned Monastery, which is then going to connect to Mantra Forest. You are going to grab both the Fur Timber node and the Excavation node here. That'll be the 4 workers that you can get through Pro Shop lodging at Trent, all working for you. And these are the items you're going to be pulling out of there. So that's the Trent taken care of. And now for the rest of Calpheon, we're going to start north of Calpheon first. So from Calpheon, you're going to connect to Abandoned Land into Isolated Sentry Post. And then that's going to go into Quint Hill. This is a pretty expensive Birch Timber node to unlock. But I do recommend getting it because, again, this is all about Calpheon crates, and you need Birch Timber for Calpheon crates. So that is very important if you are going to be doing trading. And then right off Calpheon, we're going to connect to Diaz Farm into Northern Wheat Plantation. You're going to go right first and grab the old Dandelion Birch Timber. And you're going to get the Krutu Cave tin ore timber here. So the mining and the lumbering. And then after that, we're going to go north of Northern Wheat Plantation, get the excavation node at Bernianto Farm, and do the excavation node there. And then finally, Bree Tree Ruins, you're going to grab the birch timber at Bree Tree Ruins, the lumbering node. And that is almost all of Calpheon done, but there is one more node. So when we're going east of Calpheon, we're going to also go from the dirt farm into Marnie Farm Ruins into Ozy Pass and get the Cedar Timber node here. In terms of lodging, you'll need to get some extra lodging in Calpheon. I will show you the lodgings that I have. Now, unfortunately, I've got more workers than I've got nodes because I was expecting to craft more crates. I just couldn't keep up with the load. So there is you're probably not going to grab this last lodging here, the 3 out of 3 Calpheon Southgate 2, and cut down on your workers a little bit, because as you can see, I have quite a few workers in Calpheon just not doing anything. So you probably want to cut down a little bit on your workers. But in terms of what I have got, these are the fruit and veg ones. So you need to unlock the fruit and veg items in Calpheon, but you send the workers from Old Wisdom Tree to Calpheon to craft those for you. So do keep that in mind. And the rest is just lodging, and I've got run residents for making my alchemy items. So now we're going to talk about our Heidel workers. In Heidel, we have got no lodging purchased. There is nothing purchased in Heidel. We're using 4 workers, but one important note, I also connect Heidel to Tarif because we're going to be using 4 workers from Tarif to really maximize the amount of CP to worker to node ratio that we have. So before we start on the Heidel nodes, you're going to connect Heidel to Tarif by going through Eastern Borders, going through Camisylvia Temple, down to Castle Ruins, up to Soldier's Grave, and into Tarif. Once you have that connected, we will be grabbing the Lynch Farm runes just left of Heidel and Northern Plains of Serendia left of Lynch Farm runes. Over here you're going to get the Maple Timber node through lumbering. Lynch Farm runes is your most important excavation that gets you trace of savagery. Going right of Heidel, we're going to hit Eastern Border, Camisylvia Temple, and you'll send a Heidel worker to get the Castle Ruins lumbering node that gives Maple Timber. And then north of Camisylvia Temple, you're going to connect that to Ancient Ruins excavation site and Ancient Fissure to grab your zinc ore, and that is your final Heidel worker. You'll be sending then Tarif workers up to, first we're going to connect Canyon of Corruption to Elric Shrine, and then your Tarif worker will get the White Cedar, the lumbering node over here. North of that, the 2 lumbering nodes at Midaya Northern Highlands, you'll be sending Tarif workers to, so that's 3 of your 4 Tarif workers. And your final Tarif worker just right of the Corruption node is Stone Tail Wasteland. You'll get the lumbering node here, which will get the Acacia Timber. Again, these are all for creating timber crates. So that is all going to go into Tarif. Now looking at Altinova. So from Altinova, you're going to connect to Altinova entrance. That's going to connect down to Abandoned Iron Mine, and you're going to get both the mining nodes here for zinc and iron. Important, this iron node will also give you the rare proc of black shards to make Grana helmets. This should not actually be invested, so I'm wasting 1 contribution point here. Anyway, from Altinova entrance, we're going to be connecting to Awakened Bell into Omar Lava Cave, grabbing both the mining nodes here, coal and zinc. The coal node here isn't too important, but that is our 4 workers in Altinova. However, for the crafting stations, I've also got a Grana workshop here, so I've had to pick up an extra worker to be able to make myself Grana helmets for enhancing / selling. So that is important to note. As you can see, these are all my Altinova workers. There's 1 extra. Now quickly going back, I did miss Keplan, a quick one here. You definitely want Keplan Quarry. Get the mining node. This will get you coal. This coal should be more than enough to keep up your steel production. If it isn't, then pick up the Omar Lava Cave that we just talked about earlier. So now let's talk about Glish. For Glish, we're going to connect the first node over here to Southern Seanage, and that's going to get the mining node for some more iron. We're going to also connect to Southern Guard Camp and Southern Guard Camp to Glish Ruins to get the excavation node over here. And also in the future, when I got more contribution, I'll be going to Elric Shrine and getting the lumbering node. But I do need a little bit more to do that. And it is important to note for Glish housing, I will uninvest in either these nodes or some farms when I want to craft stations. And then when I do want to craft stations, I will come over here and put in an order for tool workstation. And we'll be grabbing the tier 4 one to make our high-end alchemy stations over here. And if I want to make tools, then again, we can use those tool workshops to make like lucky hose and other bits and bobs for gathering. But now we're going to come to Velia. So for Velia, I've got as many workers as I can get from Velia itself, along with the extra worker lodging that you can get over here at Toscani Farm. So I've got maximum number of workers available at Velia, and they're all working. So first of all, we're going to go from Forest of Plunder to Goblin Cave. We're going to grab the lumbering and the mining node here for ash and copper. Then from Forest of Plunder, we're going to grab Ewa's Hill. This gives you the lumbering node for ash timber. It also gives you ash sap as well, so that's pretty good. And then from Velia, we're also going to get Bazaar Farm. I've just grabbed the chicken meat here just because I had an extra worker, and I'm like, well, you never know, I might go back into cooking in the future. So this keeps up my egg production. We're going to get the lumbering node at Balnos Forest for more ash timber. And then going left of the farm, we're going to go to Skinny Farm into Forest of Seclusion, grab the mining and lumbering node here for copper and maple, and Ancient Stone Chamber for the excavation over here. Going back to Velia and sticking to the coastline, we are going to get Coastal Cave for both the mining nodes for iron and copper, and that's going to get connected to Coastal Cliff for the mining node for iron. And that is all my Velia workers. You can substitute instead of getting chicken. Maybe you want some dried fish. You can go up here and get some dried fish. Or you want potatoes, you can get potatoes. There are some substitutions, but the ore and timber nodes are very important, and excavation is obviously very important. And one final note before we get into the Valencia side of things is there is an excavation here that I have not unlocked yet. I will do when I get more points. I've unlocked it, but I don't have the worker to be able to send to here. So I need to get one more Heidel worker. So I gotta get lodging, and then after I get lodging, I can send an extra worker over here to grab the excavation. So I'm planning ahead to get this in the future when I get more CP. Now, coming on to the Valencia side of things, we've got 4 workers in Sangre Bazaar with no purchases of any houses, as you can see. And those workers were sending 1 up to Pilgrim's Haven to get the iron ore, which also gives Black Shard as a proc. Then we're going to go south through Bazaar Farmland, through Valencia Highlands, down to the Crescent Mountains. And at Crescent Mountains, we're going to grab both the mining nodes. Again, more iron for iron and black shards. Then this is pretty expensive, so cut this one out if you don't have a lot of CP. But you're going to go into Arkman's. That's 5 CP just for Arkman's. And then that's 3 CP to get the Pilgrim's Humility. And you got to unlock the excavation for 1 extra CP to get the excavation node here, and that gives Trace of Memory, and I use Trace of Memory a lot in Alchemy, so I've just unlocked it to passively get that over time to save on my money when doing Alchemy sessions. Once you got Sangrain done, we're pretty much almost finished. We're just going to go to Valencia, and at Valencia City, again, no extra lodgings over here. So we're going to connect Valencia City up to the Palm Forest, to Ariaza Town, into Northern Sand Dune, up into Gavinia Volcano Zone, and you're going to grab both the mining ones up here for titanium and vanadium. You're then going to connect that to Gavina Great Crater. You're going to grab the mining node here for more titanium, and that's going to get connected to the Coastal Cliff, and that again is the mining node that's going to give you more vanadium. This is going to be used for important items in the future, and you can also crate it up for a decent amount of silver in crates as well. As you can see, I've got a decent stockpile at the minute because I haven't started using it yet. Now, just before we wrap up, a couple last things here. When I want to do my trading, I will pick up all these farms and hand them in to the Heidel material vendor to get 100 contribution points back. I will then be using those 100 contribution points to connect Grana all the way through to Calpheon, Heidel, Tarif, Altinova, up to Shaka 2, all the way over here to the Inner Harbor down to Valencia. It is a cheaper way to go through the ocean. I just haven't spent the time to unlock the nodes. If you guys have done that, use the ocean path instead of the desert path. And finally, in terms of farming, I'm probably going to move these farms to Heidel in the future just to make my trading a lot easier. I don't have to go through this long run. I use my farms to make special sunflower seeds, which I then store over here in Old Wisdom Tree. And then I send my workers from Old Wisdom Tree to Calpheon to be able to do my processing. So I'll be clicking over here, manage craft, scroll down, special sunflower crates, and then start making them like so. If you look here, my Calpheon worker, there's no special sunflower seeds, but if I was to pick an Old Wisdom Tree worker, you can see that it has the option to do the special sunflower packs. Now, finally, in terms of workers that are working on my farms in Velia, I've used extra Pearl Shop lodging to hire giants in places like Porphyria, where I don't have any workers going. Keplan, where I've got like a bunch of extra workers, I just hired some more giants. And up here in Ovia as well, I've got some giants up here. And they just prune my gardens. Wherever I decide to have my gardens, those are going to be the workers that get the job done for me. And just don't forget to reset them onto your gardens after you do your trading and you place your gardens back out. Guys, that is my node empire specifically for processing with high-end alchemy items and really focusing on trading. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you can. I will do my best to upload as much as possible, but I am very busy at the minute. And I do have some plans in the future as well for trying to help out some of my subs and viewers. So please keep tuned. Please leave a like. Please share the videos around. Appreciate all the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.